Okay, so here's the deal. I really want to start a band, but I don't have any band members. I know that sounds really stupid. I guess what I'm saying is I kind of want to do like this solo artist thing, right? I've been a drummer for my whole life. I've played for 20 plus years. Should probably be Neil Peart at this point, but I'm not. But that's okay. I'm good enough. Lately, I've picked up sort of songwriting. I've written a lot of lyrics and poems from when I was a little kid up until now in my life. Really, I still write things down all the time. When I feel something, I want to express something, I write it down in song or lyric format. And so like I have this huge backlog of stuff that I feel like I'm musically inclined enough to turn into songs. So I can write songs. I can create music. I know how to put sounds together. I mean, I can write guitar, bass tracks, drums, vocals, all that stuff. And I may not be great at it, but I think what I do is good enough. I think it's passable for a song at least. But what I really want to do is write music, but not just to write music. Like I want to perform it myself. I want to create something musical. Like my whole life I've played with bands. I've been a part of musical things. I mean, I was in choir when I was a kid. I was in band when I was in school. I played in rock bands when I got older with guys, just like garage bands, messing around with stuff, never really getting anywhere that far. But like I always wanted to so bad. I've played with bands that had different venues and outlets and stuff we played at, small time stuff, but I'm not sure that performing and playing out all the time is something that I was really ever that interested in, to be honest with you. I think like the creative process of making an album, of creating music, of layering, the drums and the vocals and all the effects and stuff together to create a song, and then I think just the idea of creating my own music or being at the sort of creative helm of it and figuring out a way to produce it, to make it come to life, like what's in my head, to put it in the speakers. You know what I mean? So that somebody else can hear it. Like that's the point, right? I want someone else to feel what I feel or to resonate with the music that I create, And I think that's what drives me. I think that's what's behind all of this. But I've been playing drums for a long time. I can lay down drum tracks. I can sing. I'm not the best singer, okay? I'm learning, all right?
Tell me that we belong together. Blink of an eye feels like forever. Same as it ever was, same as whatever. I get to thinking when I'm lost in my head. Why is my love just like elaborate revenge?
I mean, I grew up singing all the time, you know what I'm saying? But not like with any skill. I never really learned to hone that into like a talented expression. So we'll see. But I was playing with a couple of guys, and I really wanted to go in this direction with them, but I don't think that's what they wanted. I wanted to basically get guitar tracks recorded and then layer the drums on them and then start building an album. I'm not really too big on just like jamming and wanting to play at dive bars and stuff. I mean, that can come later if you want it to, but you got to build the music first. The creative process has to be built upon until it gets to a point where you can play it. You can recite it and perfect that and give it to people live in that format if you choose to later on. But basically, I guess I'm just kind of a solo artist and a man without a band. But I'm figuring out that you can use freelance talent. You can find guitarists, producers, composers, all these people. And I found a guitarist on Fiverr that's really good, and I think I'm going to let him record my guitar tracks and bass tracks at least, because that's just two things I can't do. I mean, I never learned to play guitar, and therefore I can't play bass either. I've thought about picking up keys, and actually learning to play guitar, but I'm not getting any younger. I don't know if I have time for that. I really need musicians available to me in certain ways that I can use their talents to build the music that I want to make, you know? And that's where freelance and session musicians come into play. So if I have to use a freelance musician to record bass and guitar tracks, then so be it. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? Because at my heart, I think I'm a songwriter. And I like to compose music and write songs and you know, build an awesome sound. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking reference tracks like demos, recordings, stuff I did in like Fruity Loops, you know, these like crappy half realized you know, demos. It's basically a concept, you know, of a song. And some of them are more well put together than others. Like some of them, a couple of my songs are like really well built and composed. They're just like in MIDI format or you know, basically digital instrumentation and synthesizers and Fruity Loops and whatnot.
You're my excuse.
So most of it is going to be songs that I have written from top to bottom. And I'm basically just sending it to the musician, and they're going to, you know, I'm telling them to kind of be creative with it, put their own creative flair on it, because I think the last thing any guitarist wants is for a drummer to that doesn't know guitar to be like, play this guitar like this. You know, it's kind of more of like a reference for them to build on. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't even know the whole process of like recording and layering guitars and how it should sound and how, you know, where it should sit in the mix and all that. Speaking of mix, that's another problem. I've got a very, very small amount of experience in mixing, and especially like mastering and whatnot. That's something that's just so out of my wheelhouse. But you know what? I'm here for it. I'm going to try to learn. You know why? Because I don't want every aspect of this process to be put on somebody else. Like, I want to learn enough to where I can claim a lot of this and be proud of it and say, hey, you know, like, I produced this, I wrote this, I composed this mostly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I had help. I had instrumentalists. I had people that gave me ideas that lended a hand to the process, that filled in the gaps where I couldn't, you know. But like, I want this to be my album, you know. And I've started out just thinking like, I just want a 5-song EP. Like, I just want to put out something that I'm proud of, that I can build a foundation out of. And if I get the process down really good, you know, and I can kind of like streamline this, I've got a huge backlog of music. I mean, I really do. I've written so many things, like, and I mean, not all of them are in like finished song format, but like highly concepted in my head to the point where like if I got to work on them, I would probably have a song in like a couple of days. You know what I mean? And I've just got this huge backlog of stuff I've written. You know, whether it be recordings, record my voice, lyrics, like just stuff that I've put together just over the years that I've never touched. And that's what pisses me off, is I've got such a huge backlog of music, you know, and I know where to start with this album. I know what I want to get out there first. I've got so many songs just waiting in the wings. You know, I'll never be short for content, I don't think, you know, and it just sucks that I've let so much time go by that I have this much stuff that I want to get out, that I want to turn into music, that I want to turn into an album, you know. I don't think it's too late in life for that, and I don't know why it's taken me so long to take this seriously. I think this is what I've always wanted, and yeah, I'm ready to just dive headlong into it, you know, and we'll see where it takes me. So I kind of want to let you guys in on the process and just see what's going on. This is building a band, essentially, you know. I want to create an album, and I want to show you guys how sloppy and messy and how unconfident I am and how this process goes. And I mean, I think anybody can do it as long as you have some talent. You know, everybody's like, talent is a myth. I mean, sure, but I'm saying, like, as long as you have like a skill, I guess I should say, in an instrument or the ability to write songs, you know, you can do this. You know, I believe I can do this, and I just want to show everybody that you don't have to follow the traditional pipeline of, oh yeah, get a bunch of grungy dudes in a garage and record a bunch of demos and send them to some sleazy record label, you know, in hopes that they'll, you know, sign you onto a crappy contract that completely screws you over in some way or another.
You want to know what I think of your contract?
And I mean, that's really hard to do. That's not even my goal. I don't care about trying to be famous or trying to look cool or get my music out there to some large degree. I just want to look back and say, you know, that was my album. I created that. That's my music. That's my legacy. You know what I'm saying? And leave something, you know, for my kid to have, you know, for like a process that I'm familiar with, maybe he can jump onto when he's older, you know. I'm really excited about it, though. I'm in the very early like concepting phase. I've reached out to my guitarist on Fiverr. Actually, it's crazy how skilled some of these people are on Fiverr and what they offer for certain price ranges. I mean, it's some of it's almost criminal, but also some of it's like overpriced. You know, you just got to find like a trustworthy seller, somebody that knows what they're doing and is willing to do it for a decent price. And it's like you're kind of taking on a producer role. You know, it's like, okay, I need my guitarist to record this. I need to play the drums. I need vocals. I need this to go like that. I need all this to come together, and we're gonna get it mixed and mastered and whatnot. And I'm just really hoping that I can do a lot more of this process instead of having to lend it to someone else. You know. But yeah, I'm totally ready to do this. Let's buckle down and chip away at it a little bit at a time and see where it goes. I'll keep you guys in the loop. All right, take it easy.